Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Tuesday night of MK Invasion. I'm your host, Coley Weber, also known as Coley UFO, and I'm going to be charting this navigation into the unknown tonight. Tonight's episode is brought to you by Foul Deeds, starring horror icon Ari Lehman, the original Jason from Friday the 13th. The brand new Kickstarter campaign for the Foul Deeds is now live, and it has a lot of exciting perks available for the campaign backers, including acting roles, producer credits, autographed CDs, and a whole lot more. Join Forever Entertainment by donating to the campaign today. Tonight's episode is also brought to you by Final Girls Monsters series, now available at the scarezone.net, www.scarezone.net. Final Girl is a horror-inspired lifestyle brand built for survivors and fans alike, celebrating resilience, rebellion, right up my alley, and you all outcast whatever comes from you. So join the Scare Zone. I'm totally tangling myself up right now, but join us today at thescarezone.net and definitely help out. So tonight we are very excited to have Miya Starfire on. If you guys don't know her, you definitely will. If you've been on my side watching, she's been on my show, and so she's absolutely fabulous. So without further ado, we're going to bring Miya on and let her tell you a little bit about herself, what she does and why she does it. Welcome, Miya, over to the MK Invasion. I know you've been over on my show, and so it's nice to have you over here.
Yeah,
Nice.
thank you for having me. I'm really excited about being here, and I'm excited you're the host. So worked out perfect.
It's awesome because I oftentimes don't know who's coming on until that day or like the day before. So it's cool for me because I'm like, oh, and they always find the best people I've met over here. So it's fun and exciting, and I get to enjoy it too because you're not having to do all that production side. So it's really nice.
Yeah.
But welcome. And for people who don't know you, why don't you just tell them a little bit about yourself? This is definitely a different audience than what you'll see over on my channel. It's great people, absolutely lovely people. But for people who don't know you,
Okay,
tell them a little bit.
I'm Miya Starfire. I'm a healer. I've been working as a massage therapist and energy healer for the past 26 years, almost 27. I'm also a contactee and paranormal experiencer, and the adventures just don't ever seem to stop around here with me. That's just a little bit about myself.
There's a lot of chaos that comes with that. That's so true. I feel it every single day, but there's a part of this that's so exciting, and it's like, it's so thrilling, but it's like, man, so much comes with it. But too, we got Kurt W75 in chat and Mad Paximus, so they're trying to join. That's awesome. They definitely saw you last time, so that's cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Awesome.
And you did a reading too. You do awesome readings. Like, I have been just absolutely amazed by some of your insight and wisdom, and it's Beautiful. Your soul,
Yeah,
you have a beautiful soul, girl.
thank you. Yeah, that aspect of my intuitive abilities, I don't want to put any other kind of labels on it because I don't really know yet. But yeah, those have definitely ramped up with the contact. So I think there's a definite correlation. And I don't know if it's because I've opened up a different aspect of my ability to see the entire world in a different way and that allowed like my sight to open up. But yeah.
I found I don't know if you experienced some of this too, but it's hard to position yourself in the ET world and the paranormal world. It really is. It's like I feel like I can exist in kind of one or the other, but it's hard to kind of like go and bring them all together, and understand like where those roads cross, if that makes sense. But every single experiencer out there there's characteristics we all share, and the mediumship is one of them, definitely one of them.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's a lot of activity in my house. I don't know if that's me, if it just follows certain people, or if I'm just in an area where it's more active. I do live by volcanoes and natural quartz crystals and lakes. So I don't know if all of those elements have anything to do with it, but I'm definitely trying to figure that out.
You know, it is a lot, and every day it's because you don't understand everything when you're going through all of this. But do you think that I know with myself, I affect the electricity around me? The electricity is definitely affected.
Oh my! I was just joking. Who was it the other day? They were talking about how something wasn't working, their garage door, and I was in the chat, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I'll blow light bulbs out around me all the time." I don't like go blow them up, but they tend to go out or flicker a lot, especially if I'm in a heightened state of whatever emotion. So
Oh yeah. I've told people this before, and I'm like, you don't understand it, but when it comes to like my child or something, I have to go and separate myself, because if there's anything like carbonated or anything like in a can or bottle, it flies. Like it's almost, it kind of spooks me a little. So I go and like if I know that I'm in like one of those, it's like almost like this whirlwind, or I've knocked I don't know how many power cords or stuff. If I start to feel myself like starting to get, I'm like, don't do it. You're going to short out something around you. It says you're going to be replacing cords again. Just, stop yourself. But
yeah,
it does. I get that. I totally get that.
I've actually seen black, and I don't know if this was a form of like entities looshing off my anger because I was going through a really heightened state of extreme anger, and and I wasn't the only one to witness it. My partner, who I was arguing with at the time, saw it, and it was like these black smoky things flying through the room as I'm pretty much screaming about the situation. I mean, it was a very heightened, very intense situation, and I don't
Isn't
get
that
that.
crazy?
Yeah.
It's so true though. It's so true. There's something like I totally get that. When I was a kid, like the old street lights before they switched over to the LED lights, I remember my dad being like, you know what, it's got to be the car headlights. It's got to be the car headlights. Like there's something going on here. And I was like, Dad, this is, I'm telling you, I can take out a whole block like right down the line. And it's so weird. Like I don't know, and it's not like you kind of, I just know that when those heightened emotions come, that I have to go and remove myself. But it's just usually when it's like my child or something that's really like close to my heart, that really like, I'm like, all right, step away,
Yeah.
step away.
Yeah, it was over a heart feeling situation. So yeah, it was a big, huge betrayal, and yeah, it wasn't like a normal. I'm upset because you left your socks on the ground. It was huge. So yeah, and I don't tend to scream about things. So yeah.
Oh yeah, but we all do. That's totally normal. I've been there too, right? It's like, and it's, if you don't get the frustration out, it's gonna seep out in other ways, I feel
Oh
like.
yeah, it's ugly. Yeah, it'll blow
Yeah.
up in the wrong place. It's the wrong person. So yeah. Yeah.
So too, a lot of it, like the clearings, and like you said, you're so prone to like stuff around you, or that those energy vampires, I guess you can call them, for lack of better words. But it really is true. How do you keep yourself protected? Like, what are some grounding things that you do, or you could give tips to other people? I'm always hearing people asking, like, "Hey, can you tell me how we prevent this from And it's everybody's got their own technique.
Yeah, I like to do a lot of like earth stuff. So if I'm out on a run, because I like to be outside as much as I possibly can, weather permitting. But if I'm out on a run or I'm out in nature near like dirt, if there's mud, I'll pick it up and rub it on my hand so that I'm actually taking the piece of dirt or earth with me. And that really, I mean, sitting there and grounding your emotions and light into the earth, of course. But in the middle of a run or on something, I kind of cheat and take it with me, and it does seem to help keeping myself and my area clean. If there's a lot of clutter, like for example, we just took the Christmas decorations down, but it adds a lot of clutter with how many decorations we have. And then the tree is starting to like get all dry. And so I could feel myself getting more and more anxious around the my house, and I could feel like energy that was not my own starting to build up. So making sure that the surroundings you're in are as tidy and clean as possible, I think makes a huge difference.
I do too. I do
Yeah,
too. Anytime I've gone in and I've done a clearing for somebody, I don't even have to ask. Their relationship's a mess, their house is a mess, everything is in disorder, everything is chaos around them. And it doesn't happen. It's like it doesn't happen overnight. They slowly, like, harvest and feast on that. And it's like, if you start to, I feel myself too. Like I get a lot of anxiety from that. I'm like, man, I got to get everything put together. It's starting to seep into my life again. And I can't do that.
yeah, yeah. It has a huge effect. And then I actually like to do like spiritual. If I can't get in a bath, I'll clean my body in the shower with salt, like some kind of Celtic salt. I'll rub it all over me, and it does have a really nice effect on your whole energy body. I'm not quite sure what the salt does, but yeah, I feel like it sucks out any unwanted, you
The
know.
salt,
Yeah.
even being in water, that's a good point. Like it's submerging yourself in water, and the definitely is salt water. Like, because you think of like the salt circles are right around you. It definitely preserves it. Kurt W75 is saying he definitely feels that way with the phenomenon. Won't actually hurt you intentionally, but it can put you at risk and siphon all of your energy. Yes, it can. Very easily, it can do that. You really do have to stop yourself from it.
And I feel like these I love coming on here, but I do feel like us being exposed on such a larger way in like a live people watching, not even in the chat but watching, not chatting, I feel like our energy can be affected by their energy very easily just through the screens. It's like that black mirror effect or black
Yeah.
yeah.
It is too. I used to, that's why it took me so long to build up to shows, because it would be so exhausting taking on all that energy, that residual energy, especially around you, or that comes out. It's like you're it's like, I don't even know how to explain it, but it definitely, I do feel very sensitive to it. And it takes a little bit to build up that momentum.
Yeah.
I totally feel, I was exhausted in the beginning. I was like, man, I could only do like one show a week. And then it's like slowly you kind of build up that resilience towards it, but it's not overnight. Definitely not overnight.
It's like an etheric thick skin or something to it all. Yeah,
And
definitely.
go under attack. Anytime you go and do this, it's like you're met with like, I don't even know, people who do not sleep, eat, drink, or do anything else but make their day like about you and what you're doing. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, well, I haven't experienced that yet, but yeah, who knows?
Yeah, but you're not like as, I hope that nobody ever does that to you. I really do, because you have such a kind soul and such a kind heart. I think I kind of, I kind of get met. I don't know. Yeah, you just kind of, if you know my personality, I think I kind of strike that nerve, if there is one, a little bit quicker sometimes.
Right. No, well,
Yeah.
that's okay though. You don't take any bullshit and you kind of set the line straight. I'm more like, I'll let the lines fall back a little bit when I shouldn't. So, yeah.
Oh yeah, but you got your own way and you're navigating through this. And I have to give you so much credit. Like I said, you've been on a lot of shows and putting yourself out there, and that is not easy to do. And you're very vulnerable when you're up here. It's like you're disclosing a lot of your own life and putting it out there for people. So bravo to you for doing it. I mean, you're handling it very beautifully.
Thank you. I hope so.
But no, you really are, and your readings that you do, like, and your intuitive, like, I mean, is absolutely amazing. And two, what is your preferred style of like doing readings? I know that you work with cards and that you work, kind of doing that other mediumship also.
Well, I do like to just read the energy if, when I'm given like in a lot of like even like 20 minutes, if I have time to sit with the person's energy, I can get a lot of information. But I lately, like with you, I did pull some cards and they seemed to line up perfectly with whatever was going on or whatever I read.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I
So
look back and I was like, wow, you hit like nails right on.
I do, and I do think that there is something to like spirit will tell you exactly what is going on and what you need to focus on. So, um, yeah, I appreciate that. I'm just really clumsy, and I can't be one of those people that like starts, you know,
I'm so clumsy too. Oh my gosh, it's horrible. I said I'm like a walking train wreck. I said before, don't get out of your chair. Like you'll take out something along the way. Sit
exactly.
where you're at. And
You're like, wait, I
yeah.
can't read this. Let me get my, it just, yeah,
I it's like I said, it just comes with the territory if you know well enough. And I can laugh at it. It's just hopefully everybody else does too. But
yeah,
yeah, you can't take it too seriously. But I feel that. I feel that.
yeah.
Oh man.
But yeah, no, it's good. Yeah, I'm definitely not. I don't know if I'm going to be ever a card reader, but I do like them for backup, especially for the person too. I think that people like to see that spirit is also confirming things that I've said too. In some cases, for them, I think that having that visual, like we're very visual creatures. If we can't touch it, we want to be able to see it. I think so.
And you too, you hit a good point, like the confirmation.
Yeah,
It's like, you've already got all these things that you're writing down and they don't necessarily make sense to you. It's
right.
to the individual. And then you pull those cards. It's kind of nice to have that confirmation. I was never
Absolutely.
good at reading cards either. Never. You were good at it. I'm not. I'm not saying either. Like I'm saying I'm not good. I like had the manual, the instruction manual out. I was like, I can't do this. Like, it's just not my thing. I
Yeah.
go in and I read. It's usually like the people, their energy, like, or the people that have been deceased that will come forward and do all that. It's not. I've never been a card reader, but I fascinated by it. Definitely fascinated by it.
Yeah. And then some of the stuff is real weird. I think um, someone is in the chat. I think I saw her name, Tiffany. I don't know if she's still there, but there was me and Jay did a reading on her, and I got some wacky stuff. And I'm like, I can't say this to this girl. She's going to think, but I just said it anyways, and it ended up lining up. So it's really wild. It really is wild the way all of this works and comes in. Like I
It's
was,
not easy to tell people some stuff either. It's like,
no.
"Oh, boy, are we ready to go there?" You know? Let's do it. If we're gonna go all the way, but
I'm
it's
like,
not.
don't hate me.
You know? We
Yeah.
apologize in advance. That's what I usually do. I'm like, "I'm just gonna apologize in the beginning," like, just, but it really is though. It's so sensitive, but I think it's so important to be able to have, as a mental health therapist, I'd get in there and I'm like, there was some really tough conversations that would come up. And it's like all those really uncomfortable moments you kind of become, I don't know, desensitized to, or you learn to function in them. But it's not easy. It takes its toll on you, like emotionally too,
Yeah.
that drainage.
Yeah. Especially if it's something I've experienced or, um, like I feel like I can feel people's emotions pretty strong at times. And so, yeah, if I start to get sad, which it happens a lot, yeah, that's hard to kind of brush away sometimes for me. But
That
no,
emotional regulation. Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure it is.
yeah,
That's it, just stopping that. I don't know how. I've never been more, like, empathic like that. I've been able to see past it. I feel like either that or I for whatever reason. But if you go into a room and it's just like you're absorbing all of those feelings around you, that's a
yeah,
lot, Maya. That's a lot.
yeah, yeah. So I try not to go to the grocery store too much. I do understand that I need to build up my own boundaries more. But I mean, that just I can't hide from everything all the time. So I do understand that I need to keep on building and doing new things to help myself. But I try not to go to things like grocery stores too often. Like I'll call Instacart more than
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't blame you though, because you're going out in a swamp, and if you're picking up on all that stuff, I can go through Walmart and I'm like, I got to get out of here. And
Oh
maybe
yeah.
that's what I'm doing. Maybe I'm picking up more than I realize because I'm like, I for the doors, I'm running by the end of the day. I'm like, give me my bag. I just want to go and get out of here. The world seems mad for whatever reason, but yeah, it's a lot. It really is, and that's so true. Like everybody's carrying all this baggage around with them, and you're absorbing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there's definitely some exercises that need to be learned or honed more. There are some places that I get physically sick or dizzy as soon as I walk in, and then if I walk out, I'm fine. It's really bizarre. So yeah,
Yeah, Mandy or Anthony
dollar
said back
store.
there they can't stand Walmart, dollar store, bad energy everywhere. It is too, especially you going out there during the holidays. Don't do it. Don't
Yeah,
do it. So
that's
true.
exactly one of the places I was just thinking of. Dollar store. Yeah.
Yeah, that was. I mean, as soon as I read that, I was like, "That's yep." Walmart, the dollar store, definitely right up there at the top. No joke about that. And
Yeah.
it doesn't matter what dollar store you go to either. It's
Yeah.
like for whatever reason that's a magnet for bad energy. But it's
Yeah.
so true. And some of that. And so do you think that meditation, or how do you keep yourself then guarded once you're out there and we feel like you're starting to absorb that? Are there any techniques you have to kind of repel some of that?
I usually take some shungite with me if I can remember, or some obsidian, and carry it in like my bra or a pocket. Um, and if that isn't accessible or I don't remember, then if I recognize what's happening, I'll take some deep breaths and realize this is not mine, this is not me. And when I come home, I need to immediately wash my hands and energetically clear my field. And I do a lot of like smudging my home and myself with like incense and sometimes some Palo Santo. So yeah, I'll come home and clean myself and my energy.
Have
If
some
I
holy
realize,
water, spray
yeah,
them a little. That's not a bad idea, now I think
yeah.
of it. But that's it. No, that's good. So you kind of go like, hey, and what do those things do to help? I'm not real, but I love learning about holistic stuff and different like ways that you can do it without chemicals or naturally.
Yeah, shungite is a repellent of energy. It also works for like electronics and stuff. So it'll help with the EMF kind of situation. The obsidian has been used for hunting and protection for longer than any of us have even known it was around. So, and it's made from a volcano. So there's a lot of fire. Um, it's created from fire and earth. So that should tell you something. And the smudging, it does help clear the air and the energy. So if there's any bad energies, they don't seem to like incense or Palo Santo at all. I don't really know the science behind it. I just know that it works. It's almost like they can't breathe if they breathe. I don't know how to explain it. But I have noticed that people who have some attachments, if you start to burn that stuff, they'll be like, "What is that?" And
Oh, okay. No, I've heard people say before there's like an oil that they can't tolerate or come near. Is that kind of what maybe you're
yeah,
talking about?
yeah,
Okay.
certain oils can work too. Yeah. Mhm.
And what else can? I'm sorry.
Certain oils, like essential oils, yeah, that can help too.
Yeah, I've heard that before that they can't. There's something that I was even talking to a pastor and he's like, no, there's a certain oil blend that they'll use and it whatever it is, they can't handle it. Like it literally people and then you see, he said like you'll start to see them kind of regurgitate or get, some of that out. And I was like, that's real. Like you
Yeah.
never know because it's like you see this in the movie or you see this, like, yeah, a lot of it. It's not necessarily like when you watching Independence Day. That's not how this whole thing goes down. It's with ET or like this isn't The Exorcist in real life. I've never seen anyone climb a wall, and
Yeah.
I'm not saying it doesn't happen because I think some people are quite capable of it. But it's just not really. It's like that movie part of it. So I don't think a lot of people realize. But you too, you've like sent me stuff. You've come into a like with craft, and you experience ET, like you have a really strong connection with that
I do.
side.
I I really do believe that I haven't figured out quite yet why it's so extreme. But I know that they're teaching me. First of all, if I hadn't experienced the mass amount I did, I would have never started coming and telling my story. So they kind of taught me to use my voice in a way. They gave me something to come up to the forefront with, like they gave me the reason to use my voice and come forward. Um, and I found out that I had a cloak on me since I was a little kid from the Octurians. And I don't doubt that because there are many times, I don't know if I've told you this about how many times I could have died and did not. And I felt safe and peaceful in those very excruciating, terrible moments. I had this inner knowing that I was not going to die and that I was going to be okay. I could actually feel something like embracing me or shielding
Wow.
me. And at one point, I was in a truck and I flipped 3 times with no seatbelt on, and nothing happened to me but a bruise on my leg. And another time, I had a gun to my head, and for some reason, I knew that I was going to be okay. I mean, these are like pretty extreme
Yeah.
situations. Like a lot of people probably wouldn't have come out of these situations, and I did. And I had this knowing that I was going to be okay. So when I found this out, it clicked. Like, okay, that's it.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool because that's gotta be a comforting, and I really, the only way through this, I tell people, the only way through this is trauma and, like, unfortunately, processing a lot of it, but I noticed when I don't know if you've ever heard me talk about this, when I drove with a dead man, the man died while driving the car. I was with my grandma, and we were in the back seat, but, like, right before a half a mile before it happened and he died, we went through a cornfield, like, full blast. I thought we were gonna die. I didn't scream, I didn't yell, I didn't panic like that, but I was like, "We're goners," and I didn't just remember, like, 8 years old, thinking that. But, like, a half mile back, the car spun around 3 times in the middle of the road. It was really icy out. Otherwise, we would have slept through it, and we were so close to hitting, like, a tree, like, right in front of us, and I just remember he, like, rigor mortis set in, and his foot went down in the gas, and he's all hunched over, like, we're just flying through this cornfield, like, stuff's going everywhere, and it was, like, in that split moment, but I was like, "Man, there was an intervention in there
yeah,
because there's no possible way." It
definitely.
it just, and who drives with a dead man? Like, I just, like, my
Right.
luck right there. The story of my life, not really, but you know what I'm saying? It's just, like, the crazy stuff that happens around the phenomenon is not you experiencing this is not going to you're not going to experience your normal, daily, normal life. That's for sure.
No, you're not going to be in little boxes with the perfect family and no trauma at all ever, and then go to you're not. Yeah, that's not
Well,
how
the
this
people who
works.
can't even admit that they've been through trauma, like, I just don't think there's hope there right now. Not anyway, like, it's like there's people who just are so detached like that. It just seems like I'm like, how do you exist like that? How do you, like, know or feel yourself, like, and who you are? And, it's like really becoming okay with, like, that internal part of yourself.
Yeah, well, I feel like a lot of people are stuck in denial, and they feel like to ignore it is easier than to heal from it. And then it ends up causing a lot more like isms because of these traumas that you're not looking at, or these really bad characteristics that end up hurting not just yourself, but everybody around you who, most of the time are the ones that love you the most, or the ones that get hurt the most. And I think a lot of people, not a lot, some people do like to hold on to their trauma too. Like
Oh, yeah, they do.
it becomes an identity. Like I am this abused child and I will always be this. And now I'm going to project this victim mentality in whatever I do, and that's sad because there's so much more, and you are never your trauma. And I've had my fair share, and I've done some of it to myself, but I
You're
don't ever.
human, for sure. As I could tell you, like, the main, like, problem in the world with I mean, me too, I'm included, but, we recreate. We're trying to gain power and control, but we recreate these situations where we felt like instead of saying, "Hey, like, I didn't maybe have control over this, like, that's okay. Like, I've learned and I'm gonna move forward." It's like,
Yeah.
"No, I'm gonna recreate this and I'm just gonna," I see it so many times. I'm like, "Man, it's so sad that people it's easier for them to carry that victim mentality or that, even when I hear a lot of, 'I'm a targeted individual,' I'm like, are you targeted? Do you really know what that feels like to, like, be in that position? It's like, don't why are you making yourself a victim? Like, that's just seems like such a weakness in it, and for whatever reason, that could be wrong, and I'm judgmental,
No,
yeah, whatever, but it does it I don't like that mentality, I don't.
me neither. And I feel the same. And there's a lot of people that have that same opinion about that idea, the targeted individual. I mean, we're all targeted. We all have been targeted forever, and we continue to be targeted every single day. You can't walk outside and not be targeted by the air or the different waves going through, the electricity. We're all being targeted all the time. What
Oh,
you
yeah.
it's what you do with it and how you look. And if you continue to speak targeted into your life, you're going to receive that back. You're literally speaking it into existence even more. So yeah.
And that's another part of this because you get into, like, the manifestation of energy and really like, creating it, and a lot of people don't realize, I'm like, all those moments where you have, it's like those thoughts catch up with, like, stop, you're feeling more of this, and it's hard to do, it's really hard to do.
Yeah.
Like, in creating that because if you manifest, we were talking about this the last show you're on, it's like a part of that is living like you already have it, right?
Yes, exactly. And it's not the only part, but it's a big part of it because words are spells. They are. And there's a reason that they made certain words certain things, and if we decide to speak more positively, I think with ourselves, that it's going to be drawn to us. And I've experienced this in my life. I was at the lowest point of my life at this point, and I started to look at the world beautiful and be grateful for a beautiful rock I found on the ground that was free, and decided to take that as my one moment for the day that made me happy. And great things started to happen for me, and it wasn't because I was in a great situation. I had people helping me all over the place because I didn't. I was in a really low point where I had to start completely over, like blank slate. But I decided that I was going to start speaking goodness and joy and good fortune into my life, and it happened. So
That's so hard to do, and you did that. And the best people I know have been through those times, and, it's just like, man, when you've had to be there and pick yourself off the concrete at the lowest moments, it's like I didn't know downstairs had a basement. It's
yeah.
like the rock bottom, basement, like that. You've been there. You
Yeah.
pull yourself up, and you do that. It's like that's huge. That
Yeah.
is so huge right there.
And I think sometimes we need to have a, I'm not that I wish this for anyone or that I want this to happen again, but sometimes you need to start with nothing. Like no home, no car, no job. Start with nothing, completely start over. You can become whatever you desire to be. Not that I recommend that anyone does this, but if it does happen, you have a chance to recreate your own reality from zero, you know?
I tell people that all the time. I'm like, you know what? If this fails and this whole system or whatever we're doing resets, we have the chance at that moment in time. You can look at it however you want, but that's our opportunity to take back that power and control, and we can create it however we want.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be moments you fear. Those are moments you welcome, but it's like society's like, man, and I even feel that too. It's like, a lot of times it's thrown against me. Like my dad just the other day said, you have your master's degree. What are you doing? Like following. And I'm like, you know what, Dad, like, honestly, like, I don't know, if you've talked to me over the past 5 years or not, but things have changed. And once you have that awareness to it, it's like you don't really value some of those materialistic things like you used to at one point. I don't anyway. I
Yeah.
definitely don't. Yeah, we
Yeah.
can't take them with us. I mean, what are we doing? We're renting them here on Earth. We're gonna fight each other for them. We leave here, like that house, that car. None of that comes with you. Those great clothes you got at home. sorry, those are probably going to Goodwill somewhere, like literally, like those are gone. Like you burn them somewhere in a people don't care about your stuff anymore. Like it's not a valuable thing to me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like things I create more than things I can buy, to be honest, So, yeah, I absolutely agree with that. My scope of appreciating things was very material in my early 20s, extremely. Like I was going to BB and wanted to make sure I had the right kind of whatever, and that at one point got stripped away. So, yeah, it doesn't matter because it can be taken away. It could burn up in a fire for all like what you have in here matters more than anything. And I know that might sound kind of cliche, but really, if everything falls apart in your life, what you have on the inside is the only thing that's going to carry you through. The BB bag or the Gucci whatever isn't,
Yeah.
you
Yeah, I
know,
had all those too. And then like they ended up at the landfill eventually, like, and all those things that I cared so much about
right.
really didn't matter at the end of the day.
Yeah,
But you
absolutely.
feel that way. It's like we're so like in that mindset of programming, like, oh, what your value is your worth. And that's not true. Like the more stuff you collect doesn't make you worth anymore. It
Right.
actually probably is doing a little bit less to you.
Yeah, or that surface level. My friend, I always talk about Phil because he always brings up really valid points. But um,
Oh,
he,
cosmic?
yeah, he said that, man, I really hate people who come up to me and the first thing they ask me is, "What do I do for a living?" Like, I don't want a topical, insignificant conversation. I want to get to know people on a deeper level, and I totally feel that because it seems to be in this material world we value. Well, what do you do? How much do you make? Because that makes you more important somehow. No.
What kind of car you driving? Like what do you do? It's like it's all smoke and mirrors. It's all smoke and mirrors. Padded, like I always say, those are the most insecure people you'll ever meet in your life. Like, it's like they have no grasp of reality, in my opinion. We can totally disagree on that if they're out there listening, but they don't understand what's so important. And it's like when you talked about this the other night, you were talking about, it's like this is a human experience. Like this is, your spiritual journey for whatever reason, and wherever we found ourselves on this crazy planet, you're here, and it's here for, I'm like, well, I'm just getting the experience. I'm getting all my money's worth or whatever out of it. Like,
Right.
the full experience on this ride.
The full
But
spectrum. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah. Me
oh,
too.
it can be brutal sometimes too, let me tell you.
Oh
But
yeah. Yeah.
that's support, and that's what I think is so important, and something that maybe you don't even understand how much it means to other people. But and like I opened up and told you a lot of stuff that was going on, and like and it was very vulnerable. Like it's hard to do that, and you being so like accepting and like understanding, and not like usually I'm like met with that with like 1,000 questions on this and this. Like you really honestly did not make me feel like anything, that I was less of anyone for even going through any of this. But it was so cool in so many ways. It's like when you're out there and you feel like, and I know we were talking about this, like you're doing the right thing and you're speaking up and speaking out, but it's not always met with it's not, just doing the right thing doesn't get you good things. Like in life, it's just not the way it works. But we have all that programming in us, and it's so hard to shed. It's hard for me to shed, but doing it and being able to sit with somebody in those moments, is truly remarkable. And I really appreciate that. I do.
Thank you. And you too. And I think maybe part of the theory that we came here and part of the plan was to be smacked around by the universe. There is truth in that because it humbles you and it lets you be accepting and look at things in a way broader perspective. Like even my partner will talk shit about the homeless tweaker walking down the street speaking to himself, and I'm like, hey dude, you don't know exactly what that person's going through. Like,
No, you
don't
don't.
look down on this person you don't know. Like, they're having a hard time. They might be dealing with some mental illness that they're trying to treat themselves by taking drugs.
Oh yeah, I saw
They
so much of that.
Yeah, or they might be like touched and psychic, and they are seeing and hearing things, and they don't know how to control it. Like, don't ever look down on someone, because I was in the addiction part of my life too at one point, and I was on heavy, heavy drugs and a completely different person, you know? So be careful, because that was me at one point, you know, and I was going through a lot. So, yeah, it gives you a chance to, when you go through these trials, to look at everybody with kindness. And I think that we need to do that, not only to ourselves, but everybody, regardless. Now, I'm not saying to look at someone who is a pedo or a murderer with too much kindness, because
Right. No, but I see what you're saying, because there's so much of it, and you're right, like, when you come down to it, and people don't, it's oftentimes like a lack there no family support, or, something really traumatic has happened in their life. I don't think anybody, like, sets out like, "I'm gonna be a drug addict on the street today," like,
no,
"I'm gonna do this today," like, to self-destruct. Nobody wants to be that.
yeah, no, absolutely not. It's a coping mechanism for something deeper. It's always that. That's all addiction is. It's filling a void. So, yeah.
Wow, I didn't know you had been through all of that. That's it even says even more about you, that you like, because I've seen people go through that struggle. Like, that's one I thank God I've never had to walk down, but I understand it. It hits close to home, like, believe me, and then many family members and many things around me. And it's like when you're able to pick yourself and then find yourself and then find this, beautiful heart. And so you have empathy for people still. It's not like, a lot of people, they come out of this and they don't feel bad for anybody. Like, they don't have that, like, empathy like you do for people. It's
Well,
like
yeah,
an ex-smoker. They're like, "Oh, what is that?" I'm like, "Come on, you used to do this yourself. What you
right.
talking about?" Like,
Look down on
come
someone
on.
that you used to do. Absolutely not. No. Now, I mean, if someone was attacking me and they were on drugs, I might have something to say about it, but that doesn't happen. You know, more so or not, these people are hurting and in terrible situations. Yes, they put themselves in, but it's also for a deeper reason. It's always for a deeper, darker reason. And yeah,
People don't realize what that's like. I'm like, if you don't have, and I always up until a certain point had that. So I like at a certain point, I get what that feels like. And I never thought it would feel so like I didn't understand that type of, loss and grief until I had gone through it myself. And I was like, man, a lot of times when you don't have that to fall back on and you're the sole person walking and whether you're make it or break it that day, you don't have anything to fall back on or anyone. It's you and you alone out there.
mm-hmm.
It's a little bit different of a deal. It really is.
Yeah. Well, I actually had spirit show up for me in human form. Now, whether that was an angel, my higher self, or some kind of interdimensional, but in one of my darkest moments, when I felt alone, walking around, I don't know if you know the Tenderloins in San Francisco. It's like the worst, the Skid Row in San Francisco, walking around really high on multiple things, going through a lot of stuff. But in the middle of the night, I should have, not should have, but I could have been murdered easily. I could have been taken for some kind of really dark thing. But something appeared to me in a human form in all white in the city that's not normal, out of nowhere. I turned my head, and then I turned my head back, and there was this man who almost looked like Jesus suddenly there. And he looked straight at me and he says, you're going through all of this because of the drugs. Like,
Oh,
basically,
wow.
knock your shit off, right? And I kind of like, how does he know that? And like rolled my eyes and looked the other way. 2 seconds later, I looked back at this person was gone.
Gone.
I looked everywhere, everywhere. They weren't walking anywhere.
Divine intervention right there.
Divine.
Divine intervention.
But it also let me see that no, I'm not alone. Even when I feel like I'm the only one in the room, I'm not alone. And that was like my first glimpse into I actually have support, you know.
They might not be physically here in this earth,
Right.
but that's okay. Like, you're right, though. That's so true. Because I'm like, me and my grandma were like, partners in crime. Like, we were two peas in a pod. And I was like, man, but you're probably right. Like, I don't think that ever stopped. Maybe I just don't feel it the same way. And it's
Right.
so hard to see things and experience things when it's so close to your own life.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, all of us have guardians. I don't care who you are. you have a guardian, whether they pop up in front of you. Like, I think that was meant to make me go, you are going to get hurt. There's only so much we can do. You can knock it off. But yeah.
Did you think there was a difference? Did you see the change in you, or do you think like you needed to become aware of the change? Because a lot of times I feel like I don't know if it's maybe a defense mechanism where people are like they just don't want to give it up, and a part of giving that up is maybe owning some of that.
That was like one of those tipping points that stuck with me well until now. But it always came back up into my vision, my point of view. I did stop like about a month later. Maybe it was 3 months. It was a very short time. But I was dealing with a lot of pain, a lot of pain that I did not want to face. I couldn't face it because this pain was something that I had done, and yeah, so I was trying to mask it as much as I could, and unfortunately, I grew up around people who drank and smoked weed to deal with their issues. So this
That's how you
was,
learn to cope.
yeah.
How you're taught to cope, you know?
Mhm.
And until you know better, or it's not like really even knowing better, no different. Like there's a different route to take. Like, because that's a lot. Like, I just know that especially intense grief and emotion and loss, which comes with everything. Like, even comes with people who are giving up the addiction. You're
Yeah.
still grieving, that whatever, and it's hard, like to sit there with all that. It weighs you down, those emotions, but you have to get through them. You have to get through them and work through them, or you're just
And I,
gonna carry them along.
yeah, and I will say that the 12 steps, and I don't know that I believe with um, needing to go to a meeting every single day for the rest of your life. I think that there is an appropriate amount until you can get a grasp on your own emotions, and I don't think that everybody has to go to a meeting all the time for the rest of their life. It did serve its purpose for me, and doing the 12 steps is exactly what shadow work is. I mean, it's a very good opener for shadow work. So, I didn't realize what I was doing, but I was taking this accountability and this inventory of what was wrong with me on the inside and where it came from, what I had done to other people, and why. So I appreciate the fact that this served many purposes. It helped me be a humble, accepting person going through these trials and tribulations, but it also helped me heal. I was forced, like, you have to do this. You
Yeah.
have, yeah.
You're not. I mean, there's no way around it. You can try and escape it, evade it all day long, but it's gonna come. You're coming face to face with it. You're
Mhm.
coming face to face with it, and that's like the best. It's like those moments. It's like, man, sometimes you need more time, but if you don't make those changes for yourself, you're not gonna like how they happen. You
Yeah.
won't do it. Like I wouldn't recommend going that route and just letting the universe take control of it. It won't end up like you like. Won't be a pretty route through it. At least if you make those changes for yourself and deep down in your heart that you have to make them, you can set the terms for them a little bit differently than when they happen to you just like that.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree with that.
And two, I just know when, like, I was a therapist in an office for 5 days a week, and I'd listen every hour. It was like negativity after negativity. And day after, I was just absorbing all of it. And then it started tipping. It started to flow into my life. And I think it was a lot of that manifestation in listening to other people, but it started to manifest in my life. It really did. And I was
Yeah.
like, whoa, like it was like a flood around me. And I was like, man, if this it really tells you, especially when you're dealing with all this stuff, I don't believe you can't even like convince me that some of it's really not like, I don't know, negative energy or more. I don't know what you would even call it. I hate to put terms on it, but that dark energy that
Yeah.
flows.
Yeah, and it's definitely transferable. Like, you need to mind who you have around you and what you're consuming, like on the
Mhm.
physical and spiritual and the mental, like what you're watching, what you're eating, who you have like speaking to you, because people can speak spells into your life too, for sure. If you're around it enough, then you start to act as they do. And I do think it's a dark energy. I do. I think it can jump from person to person. depending on the situation. I'm not talking about like possession.
No, I think it can. Well, I even think I was just talking about this earlier with Mad Paxmas. I was like, I had this haunted like voltmeter, it's called, and when I had to finally spray it with holy water, it was just like something out of a movie. The crucifix that I had on it broke and spun around this like black thing that was there, and I was like, whoa! But it was gone. It was gone. And it
Yeah.
was right after that, a family member started acting very bizarre and weird stuff started happening. Like the car, me and my son were sitting outside of their house and the car started up on its own. And I was like, okay, Brody, we got to get the heck out of here. This is
Yeah.
crazy. But I think, I just wonder if when I didn't spray that thing, if I'm like, hey, it went somewhere. It went somewhere. I don't think it bounced off, and another machine's not trying to like trap my arm and break it like I was convinced this thing was doing. It started to get really crazy. I always thought, oh, a haunted I thought
Yeah.
it was cool at one point. I thought that was cool. I'm gonna
Oh
like
no! Don't fuck around with.
oh my God, no, don't do it. If you think that is cool, I'm telling you, it's not cool. It's not cool. Like I was all excited about this voltmeter that,
Yeah.
was like, my buddy's like, I think it tried to burn my house down. He brought it over to me and he's like, here you go. I was like, oh, really? That's awesome. Thank you so much. I was like, whoa, what are you doing? I like,
Thank you for the hex and the curse on my
yeah,
life.
it all, but did try and he was like an engineer and like an aerospace engineer. He's like, I thought he was joking. I was like, really? And he's like, I got this and with my parents, and it's from like a flea market of some sort. It came from Area 51. He's like, here you go. It's all yours. And I was like, really? My friend's like, I wouldn't touch that to save my life. And I was like, oh, what are you talking about? I got this, no problem. But that thing, I'm telling you,
I mean,
it was setting stuff off in the middle, blowing fuses, light. I mean, it was all, and it stopped the instant that whole thing, and the lid broke off. And I was like, whoa, now where did it go?
that
Where did it go?
the whole object itself disappeared.
No, the lid. There was like,
Oh, the
it was
lid.
like you open. Yeah, it's like this vintage. It's like almost like a big box, and the lid open, and that's where I had to put the crucifix on and the holy water because it started. The last straw was when my arm was trapped in my car, and the seat. It was like, I swear to God, it was the thing. I'm not even. This has never happened before. It's never happened since, and it was like pushing forward. I was stuck in my wrist, and there was nothing I could do. I was literally reaching over the seat. And I was stuck there for like 40 minutes and about broke my wrist. And I was like,
Oh
that's
my.
it. This thing is done. It's not getting any cars with me. It's not getting in any, I mean, this is crazy. It's gone too far. But I'm telling you, when that thing, the lid snapped off of it, but the crucifix broke. It was like this part of it broke, and then it spun around, and I was like, whoa. That
Oh
just looked
no.
like something out of a movie. Yeah.
No, no.
I have
Yeah.
pictures of it after it did, and I was like, and then it's just like, you could tell it was gone. But then, where did it go?
It hopped into the next open closest person, probably to you or something. It sounds like it did. I don't
think
mess around.
something
How do
like that.
people have these museums? Not that I'm talking down on people who do, because there's a place for everybody. But and then we might need these museums, but I can't imagine purposely making a place that I go into all the time filled with these, quote unquote cursed objects. Yeah, they're
That's where
great.
it was going. It was going to go into the museum with Annabelle. David Merlin, I talked to him about it. I was like, I don't know what to do with this box. And I was supposed to get on a show. And I remember, I think it was Drew Banky. And he's like, what are you doing? Just take the box and go throw it in the fire outside. And I said, I can't. I don't know if I'm going to make it out. I think it's going to blow me up with it. Like,
Yeah.
that's how I started. When you let that amount of fear come in,
Mm-hmm.
that was a bad decision, because I'm the first one to say, like, you go to a haunted location, you never, ever, you're in control the whole time, or you get the heck out of there. Don't even go there. And here I am, like, I can't even take the body. He's like, go throw it in the fire. I was like, I can't do it. And it was I think it was shorting out everything that I had. And I couldn't even get on the show. It was so bad.
It might have made an explosion happen.
That's what I thought. That's exactly what I thought. I said, well, I'm not trying to be a big baby here. And he's like, yeah, you're being a big baby. Just go throw it in the fire. And I was like, you don't understand here, okay? I just trapped my arm in my car for like 40 minutes, like, and was pushing the seat forward, and I was trapped there. I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I got to get rid of this thing. And I remember my kiddo was like, oh, leave it in here. It's no big deal. And I was like, Brody, this is nothing to fool around with. I
Yeah.
go and I walk out and I was like, okay, I'm because I wanted him to help me take it out of here. I am trying to get my kid out to take it with me. I didn't know what else to do. I did not know what else to do. And
Yeah.
so I leave the room and like 30 seconds later, I hear this boom. The chair breaks that he's sitting on. I said, okay, Bertie, we're getting this thing out now. This is it. Like, this is it. He's on the floor. I was like, the chair just doesn't break like that. Like 30 seconds later, it doesn't. It's that box. I'm telling
Yeah.
you.
You're like, see, I told you.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. He's like, okay, maybe we need to get this out of here. But yeah, I finally just sprayed it with holy water. I was like, well, this works in the movies. But yeah, it really didn't like the holy water. Did not like the holy water. And
Well, it
that
got
thing,
you got it away from you and your kid at least, but and I don't think fire can actually make these cursed things go away. I think they can just transfer into other things too. So I think that's a
I
big
think you're right. There's Patrick Cross. I don't know if you ever see, he's going to be on again. He was actually over here on MK Invasion talking about it, but he had this haunted guitar and he's like, he finally lit it in a dumpster and started it on fire. And he said that somebody else came and ran, but the way that they found it was in, I guess it belonged to somebody, a musician, and everything else was burnt around but that guitar.
Oh no. Oh
Yeah.
no. No, 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 no.
Yeah. I was like, oh
No.
man. Yeah, see, Drew, I'm not such a baby anymore, am I now? Like his guitar didn't even make it through. I was like, so did you stop the person? He's like, no. They came up and they took it. He's like, and I didn't say a word. He's like, I couldn't necessarily stop him, but I was, and I was like, I get that. I get that. I
They
don't
might
know.
not have believed him anyways, too.
Yeah. Yeah, for all you know, but it's like it's sometimes I think it just calls another person in. Like maybe it's just, I don't know what else to do, but there's no messing around. And you're right. Like look at the Annabelle and what happened to Dan over that whole thing, Riviera. I'm like, oh man, like at one point I think they were saying it escaped, and I was like, after that voltmeter, I wouldn't put it past it.
No, and dolls are creepy enough. Like my little girl likes dolls, and some of them I'm like, and it's not even like a cursed object. So yeah, no, no, no.
I used to think those were cool.
Yeah,
They're not cool. They're not cool. Don't take them home. I don't invite that into your life. Definitely don't do that.
yeah, I agree. I think it does have something to do with the human form that the dolls have. Is why there's so many different kinds of possessed doll-like figures out there. I feel like that has something to do with it.
Oh yeah. Well, look at the Annabelle. Like they showed this crazy Annabelle doll that looked like this little demonic thing, and it's Raggedy Ann doll. And I'm like, well,
Yeah,
every like little kid in America had one of these things. What are we doing?
yeah. I know. I couldn't believe it either because I believe I had Andy. Was it Raggedy Andy, the boy?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, and he's another one that, like, of haunted things that I've seen, or, like, when I've gone in, there's this haunted manor that's really the Heidenberg Manor that's really close to here, and what do they have? Raggedy Ann and Andy, and both of those things they wind up everywhere, like, everybody talks about those 2. I'm like, "What is it? What is the deal with it?" But I guess if you look at it, it does, it is creepy, it is a little creepy, I'm not
You
gonna
might as
lie.
well just get a Chucky doll and call it a day.
I know, right? I used to think stuff like that. I was like, "Oh, those creepy dolls. I want one of those." Like, and well, like now I'm like, "Man, you didn't know what you were getting yourself into. You should have just bypassed that whole creepy route altogether." But it's kind of like you think it's kind of like fun and I don't know what I was thinking. The Annabelle though, I mean, oh gosh, and even David Merlin would talk about it. He's like, I got down there and I was like 5 minutes. I was like, "Did you open the glass? Did you like poke at it?" Like that's what I'd catch myself doing. I was like, that glass, it said, "Do not touch."
Yeah.
Yeah, you leave me down there for like 5 minutes. Don't do it. Don't leave me down there. I want to have my hands all over that, like trying to touch it. Like who, but yeah, that doll. It sounds crazy, and I thought, well, they're probably just making more. I don't think they are. I
No,
think some stuff is just truly out there is just evil.
I agree. And it's a curiosity and people like me and you too. Like we want to know more about this other realm on the other side. So we will do things that are a little bit extreme in order to figure it out too, right? Like
Oh,
I want
that's
to
true.
see,
Yeah.
I want to
Yeah,
see.
you have to kind of test it out for yourself before you even take it to other people. You're so true. Because it's like you want to understand it, you want to grasp what's going on here. And when you're experiencing that, how was it like growing up like that for you?
Well, I my grandmother was extremely religious, and my mom grew up in the Catholic religion, so she had it around her, but she didn't try to thump me over the head with the Bible. But it was quickly like, no, it's your imagination, no, or it's evil. My grandmother got really scared that I was going to get possessed because they believe in dark entities, but not good ones for some reason. That should
Mm-hmm.
about that
Mm-hmm.
religion. Um, but yeah, so a lot of it was poo pooed away. I was told to, bury my head and forget it. And many nights I was in my room under my blanket, like this, false sense of security, because I would see things in my room move. And, it's just a trick of your eyes. Like, no, I've been in here for hours. My eyes are, or the whole like seeing the mask, the true form of someone when I was young, on the other side of a window, and I was told it was a Halloween mask. So it was a lot of me thinking I was crazy, and a lot of me having to like not say things or be made to feel bad, basically. Like you shouldn't be thinking that you're just a silly little girl. So yeah, that was rough, but that
You
made
know
it
what
go.
though? That's so true though. But I remember like when you're talking about that, that just hit close to my mom was so freaked out by it. She wanted to call a priest for an exorcist. Like,
Oh, that's
how do you think I'm gonna grow up if you want to call a priest on me when I'm like 9 years old? You know, I was like, come on, like that's crazy. But I started to write it in stories. So when I didn't feel real safe telling people what was going on because I didn't want the local priest coming over. So, and I went to Catholic school. So I was like, oh God, she's gonna call my teacher or something like what's going on here. But yeah, it is crazy though. It's a lot. It is a lot to handle. And especially like you said, there's a part of this that you don't really feel comfortable talking about.
No, and then you suppress it because you're told that you need to suppress it or scared to think that you can't come forward. Like even with my first experience with something in the sky that was basically hovering above the ground, even though that there was someone with me witnessing and experiencing this thing go through the car, I tried to talk to her about it like 4 years later, and she's like, "Why are you bringing that? Like, me again? Someone else making me feel bad for something she actually witnessed." So there was a lot of like suppressing and like almost putting up a thicker veil for myself, which is sad because we should be keeping the gifts we have and honing them and telling our kids, like, oh, what did you actually see? What did they say? Like, I mean, I don't want anything bad to happen to my children, but I also want them to keep on to the closeness to the spirit realm that they have, and I never want them to feel bad about it. So
Oh, good for you. That's amazing. No, that's absolutely amazing because not a lot of parents, I think maybe like out of fear, we sometimes like smack people like kids down, like, oh, okay, let's not go there. Like, I don't want this to happen or that to happen. But teaching them that important tool on how to navigate through it is so important.
well, and it's empowering too, because if my daughter's telling me there's something scary under the bed, now there could be. I tell her to use her voice, and I say that you're more powerful than that thing under the bed. You make it go away. You tell it to go away. You scream at it. And if that doesn't work, mommy and daddy will come scream at it for you. But making sure that they know they have more power than they realize within them. And sometimes all it does, that is needed is just a loud voice demanding, commanding that the darkness go away. And it works. So,
Taking ownership. That's the first thing he's teaching people too. It's like when you have an entity in your house like that, or I'm doing a clearing, like ownership, you have to tell this thing to get out. Okay. Like it's not staying here. It's got to go. I don't care where it goes, but it's not going here. And it's hard for people to do that and feel that empowerment, but that's so important because I think that's what they try and take away from us with all of, the doubt that's put in there.
oh
And
yeah,
you're
they
right
don't.
about people. I remember my friend being like, don't you think maybe we've seen too much? Like she saw it with me and I'm like, what are you talking about? We've seen too much. Like, she's like, I just think, don't you think we've gone too far? Like, she didn't want to even talk about it. It was
Mhm.
so
Yeah, that's the same thing I experienced. Like, don't bring that up because then you're going to make me think about it. And I obviously have been trying to suppress this memory, and now you're here trying to bring it out of me. But yeah, and I do think that if everyone realized how big and powerful they were, that they wouldn't be scared of shadows moving. And I think that's part of the problem. And the programming is to make us think that we're weak and we can be harmed. But no, if you go into a room and demand authority and control and act as big as your soul actually is, because I feel like, in my belief, our souls are giant, you know. And if we command that room clear, and they won't bother you. It's when you start to feel like, oh my god, I'm scared, or you're jumping, and that's when they really start to come after you. I've noticed, for me anyways.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, that is true. That is true. They don't like it. It's like, if anything, I said we were the kind of created in that presence. But look at here on planet Earth, like around us, how people and things react when you start to take over that power and control. They
Oh, yeah.
don't like it. That's one thing that they try. And I figure if it extends here, it extends there. That's kind of the prevented measurements they go to kind of keep everything contained and, controlled.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. It's like uh, some kind of a farm or something that is controlled by different barriers and controllers, and then you have like the literal black sheep like us going, no,
We're
I'm
gonna
gonna
come
go
in
get
and
out
we're
of this
tearing apart the
cave
farm.
and go over here because I feel like it. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, this is what I love about our generation too. I absolutely love this about our generation, but it's like, sometimes you just can't always burn the place down, even though you want to. And believe me, I go into like, I'm like, let's do this. But you seem to navigate through. It's like, man, that right there might be my biggest downfall, but yet my biggest strength at my like moments. It's like that whole rebellion. I'm like, oh, left, I'm going right. Let's go. Everybody going right. We're coming with me. Like, let's go. But that's not always met. It's usually met with adversity, that's for
oh yeah,
sure, but
yeah. But that's okay. That's how we.
we wouldn't be down, it's like I think we all have our little especially in this, I love the different personalities, and we all have our, like, those I think that's why we do what we do, getting those creative, like, I don't even know what you call them now, but, it's definitely I have some unique characteristics, let's just put it
Yeah.
that way.
No, it's awesome. Everyone has their own way of doing things, but I think we are realizing our power. And the more we talk about it and come together, the more we can actually express that power. Um, and that might be met with some more opposition, but that's okay. Where it's still learning, right? Like, how
Yeah.
do I go at this from another angle now? And I've always said that Generation X is the best generation. Like, we
Heck
were in the
yeah.
middle of like the analog to digital, and we got to watch these little big ass cell phones turn into these little ass things.
Oh,
And now there's a walking computer, and you're like, I'm really thinking about it. I'm like, oh my god, what? Yeah, we got to
those
see
old cell phones with, like, a, antenna
it.
like this long.
Remember the ones that were in like suitcases? Like, you had to have a big ass
The
suitcase.
bag phones.
Yeah.
My grandparents had one in their
Wait,
trunk.
hold on, I can't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I like this is in the I feel like it was in the 80s or 90s when they had this thing, and I'm like, how is it that they have this bag phone that we're carrying it around? Well, we didn't have a cell phone. I don't know.
And then
It's
they
crazy.
shrunk. Do you remember I forget what they were called, the Nokias or so? They were like tiny little things, and you could barely see the keys. And then texting came out, and then they need to make the things bigger with their own like keyboard. I don't know. Yeah,
Well,
lots of
you did thinking about it, remember you like A be like, or trying to get the C, A,
one.
B,
Yeah,
C. Yeah.
yeah.
And then there's like predictive format. I was like, this is great. It's like you think you don't realize, everything at the time, but look how far we've come. I mean, it really is a
It's
long way in a short time. My
yeah.
son was just complaining about this earlier. He's like, I'm so tired of hearing about my generation. He's like, we're not all like that. He's like, your generation just thinks you're so cool sometimes. And I was like,
We are.
Brody, what are you talking about? We are the last hope here. Generation X, I said, are the legends. Like, you
Yeah,
can't even
we
tell me any different.
like, we brought everything to the forefront, so you can now do it. Like, even if you want to go back to like the gay and lesbian thing, we are the ones that made it possible for it to be out and open and proud about it. Like, I mean, all kinds of things, women's movement, like everything. you
We're all
know?
fighting for, yeah, we've all been, it's like that you need that rebellion sometimes. You have to meet that. Otherwise, it's like that containment. And I don't like how the fact of how surveillance, these kids are in there, they don't know. They don't know what it's like not living with that. It's like, man, the tracking, when I hear parents are like, oh yeah, tracking and I'm like, I don't know how I feel. It's like you got to teach your kids how to survive. I don't know if that tracking on them is a good thing,
Right.
necessarily.
Well, there's a pin I have for my son. I don't have the tracking app. I did have that, but I quickly made that go away because that seemed a little bit too weird. But I do make him drop me a pin where you're at so I know that you're actually
That's
where
a good
you're
idea. That's a
at.
good because you want to know where your kid's at. You want to check in and make sure they're telling because they're not gonna kids don't always tell the truth. Let's put it that
Well,
way.
he's still a teenager, and
Yeah. Yeah,
it's
someday, I mean, like, I have a teenager too. I always tell Brody,
yeah,
I was like, I don't do that pukey teenager thing, okay?
yeah,
Like, I dealt with him when I was in high school. I just don't do that pukey teenager thing. But yeah, it's cool to see, those aspects. And I bet your kids are very cool. Very cool.
yeah, and they're both really intuitive and in touch. And my daughter's actually started to do energy healing on me, which is amazing because
Oh,
she's extremely powerful. Like, I don't know if when your child hugs you, it's like the most beautiful,
oh, it is.
comforting feeling ever, right? And so there's this little girl placing hands on a wound or hurting. My wrist actually has been hurting, and she's like, "I'm healing it for you," and I'm like, "Oh my god!"
Oh, wow. Look at that.
Yeah, it's really amazing. So, yeah, they're awesome. My son's very respectful and responsible and helps. He's seen a lot of, she's too young to know what has happened the last 5 years, but he's lived through it. So, yeah, it's, the trauma had a lot of growth for
Yeah.
him. Yeah.
Think of how with that support from a parent, I always think, I like my kiddos, seen and heard it all too. Like some ways, like, especially out there, like in the community and stuff, like fighting for stuff, it's like it's not met, it's usually met with adversity. But I was like, it really is like to see them embrace that. And I said, how much difference in the world would it have just made? Like, I'm thinking in my own life, like just to have that support, they're going through it. Like, hey, we're going to be okay. This is a part of life, unfortunately, and we're
Mhm.
gonna be, we're together. We got this.
Yeah, absolutely. I think about that too because while my mother still apologizes to me, she's my only surviving parent. But she has witnessed from her own perspective how many mistakes she made by not supporting me, by talking to me the way she did. And she was doing the best she could based on what she was given as a child. And she was
Yeah.
trying to do better than her mother, but it still wasn't quite um, enough. But then I think, well, if I didn't have the parentage I had and then made the mistakes I did, I probably would have been a way different person now. And do I actually want that? So no, I don't hold resentment for I used to, but not
Yeah.
anymore.
That's a normal though. And it's like, you can only do what you can do the best you can do with the tools you got, but that's
Right.
hard, especially when it's a parent. But that's awesome that you had that. Like, do you feel like it kind of gave you a little bit of closure?
It did because she does every time she realizes something, she'll apologize. And even if she doesn't want to admit something, so with Jungle Juice, the thing, I don't know if we can say it, so I'm not going to. But she got it and the backups for it, and got really sick with a
Oh, I know what you're talking. Yeah. So did my dad. I tried to warn him, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
heart attack, heart
Oh,
problems,
no.
stroke, another mini stroke that they just found.
Oh, I'm so sorry. That's
She
a
asked me,
lot.
yeah, and well, we lost two other family members right after they
Mm.
got it. One was a super cancer that came back, and the other one was a common cold. So after all
I'm so
that,
sorry that happened.
yeah, it was rough, but it was part of the lesson. It was, yeah. My mom has recently asked me not to blame anything without saying it outright. Like, this is what's happening to me. Please do not blame anyone. I think she knows. I think she's pretty aware of what has happened. And just the other day, she was crying, literally crying on my shoulder, saying she wished she would have made better, healthier choices for herself. And I can't tell her that, like, I told you so. Like, she knows. She realizes what's happened.
Oh, good for you. Because I think that would have been like, I think I might have said that to my dad a few times. Like, I told you, like, you should thought about this. Like, let's pause and think, pause and think. But yeah, and then, I'm sure that's got to be really hard and heart wrenching on your family. I'm really sorry that you guys have been through all that. That's
Yeah.
really terrible. It sucks. You wonder why, like, does this really have to happen? But then it's like, at the end of the day, maybe it needed to happen for whatever this human experience is, but it does suck when you're going through that. So I'm really sorry.
Yeah, thank you. I've always had like a different knowing about death. I used to think that there was something wrong with me for not getting super duper upset for a super long period of time. And I didn't understand what it was until I realized that it's not the end. And that's why you're not getting as like making it like I do cry and I am upset, but I don't make a big show of it. I'm not like the weeping widow kind of personality, which, everybody has their own way to grieve, like that. But I've always felt like this doesn't feel like it's as sad as everyone's feeling it is. And I've realized that I've always felt like that because it was like an inner knowing inside of me, like, this is not the end. We will, we carry on after this. This is
You
obviously,
don't see it as final, the finality. That's good. That's healthy. That's very healthy, I think, to think like that.
yeah, absolutely. So,
Very realistic, but it's so hard. It's like that grief and loss are so human and so attached, but again, we're attaching ourselves here. And like you did not take all those nice things you bought earlier. Remember, they're not coming with you.
right.
And, it's like, so it's only one way in and one way out of this.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I'm not too sure what this is yet.
I mean, the good place, the
Yeah,
good place, maybe.
it's a good place, but it's definitely not the end.
No,
So, yeah,
no.
obviously.
There's so much more. And just giving people that like window and, seeing in like, hey, there's more hope. There's hope for you here. You're holding that hope for other people. And that's so important.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. And so I really want to thank you for coming here. And I'd love to schedule to you another show for coming over, like continuing this conversation, because I feel like I could talk to you for hours. You're just
Yeah.
absolutely amazing. You have the best heart and the best soul, and you do amazing work. Why don't you tell everybody, especially with your Jay Skyrunner, who's in the chat, you guys have a cool thing that you're doing together and a lot of spiritual services that you're offering other people, and you got your YouTube channel. Tell them about it all, girl.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you can find some of my videos. I need to make more of a lot of video material of contact and stuff that I haven't actually extracted. But yeah, Miya Starfire on YouTube. You can get a hold of me on Facebook from Miya Starfire. Me and Jay Skyrunner have a show, and we do readings and healings together, and those are all on his channel, Jay Skyrunner. Or you can go to his website. You can get some of my services and his services on there, celestialenergy.net. And for now, that's about it. Yeah.
Yeah, so guys, if you have not already, go over to Miya Starfire and Jay Skyrunner, celestialenergy.net. Sorry, I like it. Tongue-tied today. Earlier I was like, okay, slow down. I get so like hyped up about stuff. I'm like excited though. It's like, that excited energy, but yeah, sometimes it just tangles you a little bit. But you're doing amazing things. Miya, so Starfire on Facebook, on YouTube, and Jay Skyrunner, and you can find them there. They do, if you want a reading and you're all about that, I definitely recommend getting on there live and watching. I watched it for myself. It was very, very cool. Very cool.
Thank you.
Yep, and our producers put that up there on the big screen. So if you see, definitely go over to Miya and subscribe to her. It's worth it. You've got some great. I watched the first one you had sent me was about your ET contact and experience, and it was really, you did a beautiful job with it. You really did.
Yeah, thank you. I need to make some time to get some more material. But yeah.
You got a lot going on right now, though. You got a lot. You're building. You're in the I think it's great that you have the dynamic and you guys get along so well, and it's such a balance. When you maneuver through that, I think that's absolutely wonderful to see, and that that respect that you guys have for one another. Because you can easily you get into that and it's like trample over somebody, but you handle it very beautifully.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been very nice.
It really, yeah, yeah, it's cool. I feel like it's really an honor to get to watch this whole thing and really starting to bloom. So I think that's absolutely beautiful. And like I said before, I really appreciate you coming on and putting yourself out there. This place where Maya is sitting is not an easy place to be. It's not. It's way easier to sit in the spot than it is in hers. So I mad respect for you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on again. I'm like, Coley's gonna get sick of tired.
No, I was excited. It made my day. Did you see that in chat? Because it's exciting for me. I don't always know who's coming on until that day, and I'm like, that's just like a surprise. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, cool. I get to see because I get to just jump in here and enjoy it. Yeah, I don't have to produce it and do all these things behind the background. We got two great producers that do all that. So I was like, I get to show up and I get to talk with somebody. And I was like, I saw it was Maya. I was like, oh, cool, Maya's on. I was like, that totally made my day. That's awesome.
Yeah, awesome.
Yes. So again, everybody, if you have not already, hit that like, subscribe. It's Forever Entertainment. They've got great shows every day of the week. MK Invasion will be back to you next Tuesday. We're always at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm Coley, also known as Coley UFO. I'll never shake that. You can find me over on YouTube on SNX Radio. And, this has been a great show, Maya. Again, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. And then, it's great to see your journey.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you too. Thank you for giving us all a platform, to the producers too. It's a very, very nice thing to have a place to use your voice.
Yes, and it's I give you so much credit again for coming jumping over here. You probably didn't know what you're getting yourself into, and I'm like, it's so cool to sit over here and like, man, I love it. I love it. So it's like joining all those worlds. But yeah, and for everybody who's in the chat, again, get over to Miya, Starfire, Jay Skyrunner, hit that subscribe button, and definitely, and we will catch you again next Tuesday here on MK Invasion.